Hello everyone, welcome to Don't Spoil the Ending, episode 18. The date is the 28th of July 2017, and my name's John.
My name's Sam.
My name's Nick.
My name's Jono. And we have outed Joe this week. We've ousted him. It's a military coup. We've got rid of him.
Oh, wait, who's this?
Oh, yeah, don't know who you're talking about.
All right, boys.
There he is. Shit, we'll have to let him back in his cupboard.
No, yeah, Joe's having a week off.
Yeah?
He's having a well-deserved week off, isn't he?
Well-deserved break, but he'll be back next week for the Dunkirk episode. So
yeah, that's the big one. That's the 5-manner that we're having.
Yeah, got a big Dunkirk episode lined up next week. That'll be a good one. But before then, Nick, I believe you've been up to something this week.
Oh, one or two things. Went away again, didn't I?
Yeah, had another European vacation.
Yeah, went to Brussels in Belgium.
How did that go?
Oh, it went very well.
I not remember. If you can't remember it must have been good.
No, I did a few things. I went round a cathedral. That was quite interesting. I went round a chocolate history museum.
Oh, well, when you go to Belgium, you've got to check out the chocolates.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought. I was like, it's going to be amazing there. And it was just the history of chocolate. And I was like, I mean, the only
This is chocolate.
You're going around and just got bored, and it's like, okay, so the first bean was found in Africa. And then you go a bit along, and it's like, that bean was took to Belgium. I'm making this up, but like that's more or less what it was like.
You're following the history of the first cocoa bean.
It's journey.
Pretty much, yeah. The journey of the first cocoa bean, and but the good thing is they had these like little dispensable things with little chocolate, and I was like, oh, quite. But like I had one of them, and it was just like pure cocoa. I was like, that's the worst taste ever.
I think I'd love that.
Purely,
love that.
that'd be properly bitter.
It was like,
I love it.
It was bitter. Right.
I love the dark chocolate you can get that's like 90% dark or something.
No, see, I really like dark chocolate, but this wasn't like that.
Oh, right, it was just like
pure bean.
Dark chocolate's one of my favourite chocolates, but like I really didn't like this. It was really horrible.
Like evaporates all the moisture from your mouth, kind of thing.
Oh, it really did. Like, I nearly spat it out. And then we did this like little. She did a demonstration of how they make chocolate, and I thought it was gonna be all right, but like it was just a woman like literally she'd go like, all right, so what we do, we melt chocolate. Like she had a big bar of chocolate. I was like, all right, so you're not telling us how you actually make chocolate. You're just showing us that you melt some chocolate, turn it into other chocolate. And she just kept going like, right, and here's one I made earlier. And then like she'd never actually do anything. I was like, this is boring.
Yeah. That sounds a bit like when I was a kid and you learned how like Rice Krispie cakes were made or something. And you think there's some like magical thing behind it. It's just you get chocolate, you melt it, you put it on the Rice Krispies. It's like,
If you want to make the marshmallow version, you melt marshmallows and you put them on Rice Krispies. That's what it's done.
Pretty simple.
What I expected from it was like, you know, in The Simpsons where they all go to the chocolate factory and they end up in the vat and the kids are swimming in the chocolate.
Oh yeah,
that's what I thought.
Or like the box factory or something.
Yeah,
like that.
just something actually good where you make it interesting.
I mean, apart from that, like pretty much just drank a lot.
I was gonna say you drank a lot by the time.
That was your main reason for going, really.
Oh, yeah, like it was pretty much.
Sam tagged him in on the out drinking.
We went on the Friday, flew back on the Sunday, and like literally like on the Friday we got there, we went round, we just tried out because they have like ales there, and it's like 9% ale, and it's
hefty stuff.
It's nice stuff, but like they serve it in only 0.33 litre glasses, because it's just daft to sell it anymore. Like on the Friday, I forgot to mention the Saturday that we went there. The Friday, which is the day we got there. It was it was Belgium Day, National Belgium Day.
I don't even know what Belgium Day is. You have waffles and chocolate.
See, when I was told about this, because we booked it not knowing it was happening. When I was told it was Belgium Day, all I envisioned was sprouts.
Yeah,
just lots of sprouts,
waffles, sprouts,
and
Tintin, and chocolate.
But no, like you've been, haven't you?
Yeah.
There's this like massive, like I think it's like a 5-6 mile long road at some point, and it's got like a big tram track that was filled with, and like, we looked it online. There's 250,000 people on this road. And it was honestly, it was so busy. There was just loads of like people parading down with these like big dolls that people were in spinning round. It was the weirdest thing
Sounds
you've ever.
mental.
Honestly, it was mental. And like they had fireworks, and that. We missed the fireworks because we were so tired from the flight that we went back to the hotel and just drank at the hotel. but like they had like those aeroplanes flying over with like smoke coming out the back and stuff.
Like the red arrows.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. Honestly, it was really fun that day.
Yeah.
Like they had like little bars like along the road, and literally every one we ended up getting another one. Even if we hadn't finished the other one, we were like, let's down it, let's go for another one.
I do like the idea of like National Belgium Day. I don't think we really have it in this country, do we? But like Canada have just had National Canada Day. It's like 150 years of Canada. It's just a day to be like, yeah, we've been here for 150 years.
Do you know why we can't have it? Because it'd end up being some like racist march in this country. Because we're seen as like if you celebrate being British, it's almost seen to be a.
Well, I was just thinking like.
Would you not have like St. George's Day?
Yeah.
Well, we don't really celebrate. If you think about it, in this country, we have Paddy's Day, St. Patrick's Day, before anything else. Before like that's seen as like it may as well be our national holiday because St. George's Day gets forgot about.
I actually think though, like St. Patrick's Day is now Ireland's like. They celebrate it like we do, like Belgium do, like
yeah. But like just thinking about it, we don't have like a National England Day because we've been around for thousands of years, haven't we? Probably like Canada's only been around for like 150 years, maybe.
Yeah, so
it's a bit of a bigger deal for them.
We probably just give up on it. We were like,
yeah,
I've done this before.
Maybe I'll stop having a pop at the Canadians anyway. Nick, anything more from Brussels? But
I mean, like I said, like we did that day, got very drunk. On the Saturday, we went out and we found an Irish bar with €2 pints for €2, and then that night ended pretty much how you'd imagine it ended.
Dangerous, huh?
Yeah, pretty much exactly how you'd imagine it ended. And
was that your last memory of the day? Just where's €2? Just a blackout after.
I woke up and I was at home.
Well, literally the day after we were flying, and like it weren't until the evening we were flying. And we planned on doing like stuff on the next day. We didn't do a thing. We literally went to the. I think we went to the airport like 5 hours early because we were just like, I can't physically do anything. But yeah, it was really good. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, good stuff. Obviously, with doing that, not had much time to watch anything much this week. But before we got into what we've done this week, film wise, we've watched a few trailers.
We have,
talk about them if that's okay.
Yeah,
we've all watched Ready Player One, the new Steven Spielberg Warner Bros. Hoping it's going to be an epic kind of blockbuster film.
Hoping.
I've read the book. I think I mentioned to you guys before, I'm not a fan of references. And this film and book is all about references. That's almost the point. It's like a holy grail of pop culture, the trailer says kind of thing. So I forgive it that. But I love the look of it. I think the effects look great. Certain directors have certain kinds of effects, like Bryan Singer's films all look the same effects wise, and I like the look of his effects. Spielberg's films are getting that way where they all look the same effects wise. There was a few characters in that trailer that I thought looked like the BFG, which was his last film.
That
kind of orc looking dude.
I've seen that.
It's got a bit of a BFG-ish face to him, and I like it. I think it looks pretty good. So, what do you guys think?
I wasn't that keen on it.
Really?
Just seeing the trailer, and it's I'm not. Like you're saying, you're kind of thinking it's going to be an epic. I kind of wasn't getting that feel for it. I don't really know much of the story, and honestly, I'd only heard it when you mentioned the trailer.
To be honest, the trailer doesn't give you much of what it actually is about. It's just he goes into this sort of parallel world, like a VR world, because the world that he lives in is too overpopulated. So there's nowhere for him to do anything.
The effects of it, like where he goes into that world, the effects kind of remind me of Tron a little bit.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure there was a Tron bike in there as well.
Right, okay.
So I think that's probably kind of intentional.
Yeah, so everything sort of supposedly futuristic that's been in a film before, I think you've seen it in it. Like DeLorean, Freddy
Krueger, Iron Giant. The one we just mentioned, the Tron bike.
The Tron bike, there's loads in it. So
make a good trivia quiz of how many characters did you see in there as well? Stuff like that.
Which film holds the record for the most pop culture references? Nick, what are your thoughts on the trailer?
I mean, I'm neither here nor there, to be honest.
Really?
I'll watch it and I'll probably really enjoy it, but like from the trailer, I thought it looked really good. I do, but like it's not something I'm probably gonna like rush out to watch or anything.
Yeah.
But like I say, when I watch it, I'll probably have really enjoyed it.
Yeah, fair enough. John, have you got anything you want to add on that? Or?
On that, no, not really. It was something that I'll probably end up watching, but like Nick said, it's not something that I'm going to go and pay to pay to watch. I'd probably wait for it to be released or borrow it off you when you've got it on Blu-ray. It's a bit easier that way.
Oh, that's fair enough. So yeah, it looks good. We'll move on. Also,
it looks good, and I think we will probably have. It's probably one of them films where you don't think of much of it now, and when you watch it, your opinion changes, and it probably is better than it appeared.
Yeah. Speaking of it, we'll move on to the new It trailer.
Yeah, we will.
It's been released. Inman, have you watched this one at all?
I've not
seen this one.
This is something you should have watched.
Have you seen the first?
I haven't actually. No.
Oh, were you not on the It podcast?
No, I wasn't. No. Missed that one.
So you've not seen the original film. You've not seen the original film, and you've not seen either of the two trailers for the new film.
Nope, completely fresh.
Okay, so this is a bit of a lesson for you then.
From the trailer, it looked basically like 95% like the original in the way it's made.
Okay.
Scene for scene, it seems to be the same.
Same story.
Yeah, it seems to have wheedled out the bits, or the majority of the bits that were a bit cringy in the first one. When we watched it, yeah, I mean, some of it looked a bit more slick and a bit less sort of juddery in the first film. There was a lot of juddery parts where it felt like the acting just slipped off a cliff, and it was a bit like.
I mean, can I just come on to a point from that?
Yeah.
Like, you're definitely right. It looks slick, but that for me is the turn off with it. I don't want a slick horror film. I want it to be like dirty and gritty and scary. You know what I mean, like that. Yeah. That's why I'm just not bothered about it.
I just meant it was in my sense.
You're right what you said though. It's a very slick looking trailer.
Yeah, I felt like they're sort of ironing out the kinks that were in the original, which was a lot of well-known actors suddenly becoming like they'd lost all skills in acting. Like specifically the man that plays John Boy in The Waltons. Like, there's a scene I remember from the original. Like, it's just like he couldn't act, but I feel like they must have ironed that out in this film because it looked better.
Yeah, definitely. Like I say, it looks very slick, but for me, that's almost a negative point with the horror film because I want to be a bit freaked out. Nick, what are your thoughts on the?
I'm going to sound like a broken record, but like Ready Player One, I'll watch it. I'm not going to be rushing out the door.
Yeah, no,
watch it.
I totally understand. That's hard to like have an opinion. We watch so many trailers and stuff and films. It's always hard to have like an opinion either one way or the other.
I mean, there is obviously like I've got a bit of a bias to certain films though. So like I see a super. I mean, I know you're not big on your superhero film, Sam. But like when I see a superhero film, I get hyped for that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So like the Justice League trailer just got released. I'm like, wow, it's amazing. Yeah. Like I see this, I'm like, it looks pretty good. I'll watch it. Yeah.
I can see your point, and I think I can see your point because you get 2-3 minutes of a trailer to show. You don't want to spoil the film, but you want to show how good the film's going to be. With superhero films, it's like all action, like the majority of it. So it's like.
It's not even that for me, like, because like I'm watching it, I'm like, oh my god, it's Aquaman, oh my god, it's Batman. I'm getting dead excited because I know these characters, but like with it, like I know of it, I know of the clown thing, and like people were talking about it today, go, oh, it's terrifying, and I mean, no, the actual trailer, the second trailer, saying it's terrifying, and I was watching it, I was like. I'm not that terrified.
I'll just jump in there. We'll give Heggie a name shout. A name shout? A
shout out.
A name shout? Give Heggie a shout out. He was terrified. I shouted But he was terrified by it once he...
That's what I mean. Like I weren't that terrified.
Yeah, I wasn't bothered.
But I think that's because he did actually tell us that he's not a big fan of horror films. Like Sam knows him better than anyone.
Yeah.
And he said to us before that sometimes when they get put on, he might just go, I'm not even watching them with people.
Yeah, because he doesn't enjoy it whatsoever.
No, it's not a sort of thing for him, so that was going to scare him.
We'll move on to the third trailer. You all okay with that?
Yeah.
Me and him haven't seen this one, I don't think, but Suburbicon, is that right?
Yeah. I think it only got released today, to be honest.
Yeah.
But like, I stuck it on. Because I seen that Matt Damon was in it, and it's a film directed by George Clooney. Like you'll probably know better than I do, but I've never known a film to be directed by George Clooney. But
he's done a few.
He has done work before. Yeah.
Did one called Leatherheads, which was an American football film.
All right.
He did one with Sam Rockwell about a famous TV game show host in the US.
I've watched this. He starred in it as well, didn't he?
Sam Rockwell did. I think Clooney was in it. He did Good Night and Good Luck. He was in that, I think, as a TV reporter. But the one I'm thinking of, Sam Rockwell plays a game show host. Chuck Barris is called. I know the name of the guy, but not the name of the film. He played a guy called Chuck Barris, who was a game show host, but he claimed in his autobiography he was also working for the CIA, killing people. So So the film's like almost like a kind of, it's based on him, but like if what you're saying is true, it's based on that kind of thing. So, but Clooney, if I had the name, that'd help. But Clooney directed that film. Yeah, so he's done a few.
Oh, fair enough.
I kind of want to watch that.
But I mean, to be fair, yeah, I'm actually quite interested in watching it. Now, this one, like, it's weird because it starts off with this like almost advert for this like little suburban town called Suburbicon, and I don't know if you two will get this reference, but like for me, it's like the trailer for the Fallout 4 trailer. Do you know when like it's got like the nice little neighborhood and dogs like running like the dead bright coloured cars,
like the 1950s.
Yeah, it looked very much like that to me, and then I thought it was going the way of that, but it didn't.
Didn't quite pan out.
It was like a trailer of two halves. It was like the very like Truman Show, everything's perfect sort of. This is suburbia, everything's nice, neat, tidy, and then it turned into an actual pure riot. There was riots in it towards the end, which it didn't seem to like it was going to go that way. Yeah. It started off really perfect, and then
I mean, like when it first goes off of the like little suburbia feel, Matt Damon walks into his like son's bedroom. He's like, "Come with me. There's someone in the house." And then like it just kicks off from there. Like at one point in the trailer, I remember it looked like a colleague of Matt Damon's just walks up to him in his office, and Matt Damon's like, "Can I help you?" kind of thing, and he just punches him square in the face.
Do you know what that is?
That sounds quite funny.
From the scene before, it's apparently one of the henchmen for the so-called mob that he's borrowed money from. Oh, and he gets a job working there, I'm assuming it's like one of like a lower level colleagues, and just walks into his office like you're saying, because his pants don't even fit him, they're like proper half-mast. Just walks up, punches him so hard it snaps the glasses on his face, and he just starts bleeding, and he's just like, what the fuck? But it looks fun.
Well, say what you guys thinking then?
Oh yeah,
gotta watch it.
Yeah,
I mean, like, I don't want to sound like too much. Right, no, right. I'm not gonna run out the door to watch it. But like I say, like that's pretty much preserved for superhero films for me, running out the door to watch the film. But like this one, I was actually probably more excited about than I was about Ready Player One or It. If I'm honest with you.
Fair enough. Same for you, Jono. Yep.
Yeah, I'd probably prefer this to the others. Yeah, this is the one I would go and pay for it.
Fair enough. Because I'll definitely check it out now.
Just
after you mentioned it. Going off that, just the only thing I can think of in terms of commenting on it is Suburbicon sounds like a transformer. A bit like Constructicons.
So he's like a house that turns into a robot.
Suburbicon. Yeah. Okay, we'll go from there. That's the trailers covered. We'll go to Nick for a bit of news, if that's okay.
Oh yeah, I've got a few bits and bobs. I'll start with the TV news. Kind of stay on the same kind of subject.
Yeah.
We've got True Detective season 3, which has sort of been announced.
Yeah, I'm kind of half happy about this.
Yeah, like obviously season 1 was, in my opinion, and I think Joe's of the same opinion, season 1's quite possibly the best season of TV ever.
Yeah, single season.
It's amazing. Yeah.
And season 2 has got a bit of a different opinion worldwide.
Yeah.
Let's not go into that. But season 3 anyway, it's been announced, and today it's been announced that you might be able to help me with this one.
Mahershala Ali, who plays Cottonmouth in Luke Cage, or what else does he play, John?
Yeah, there's also Remy Denton in Netflix's House of Cards.
Yeah,
really good in
that's the guy. He's just been confirmed to be starring in season 3, which for me gets me a bit excited. I've seen him, like you say, in Luke Cage, seen him that Moonlight, and I liked him in both things. So
yeah.
That kind of gets me a bit excited.
Definitely.
But at the same time, I was quite excited about season 2 because Vince Vaughn was in it.
Colin Farrell was in
Colin
it.
Farrell.
I was going to say, this is a TV show where like the cast changed, doesn't it? And I was going to say season 2, like you said, it's got 2 good actors in it.
Yeah.
You would get excited for it, but
they also had like Richard McAdams. There was Taylor Kitchen, who's like a massive actor, but he's quite popular. Yeah. And it was.
It was like an all-round good cast, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's like an all-round star cast, but. Like, don't get me wrong, like, when I was watching it, I didn't hate it as much as pretty much everyone else. And to this day, I don't have as bad of opinion as everyone else. But like, it was just a storyline. Like, they picked the worst thing to like focus on, didn't they? Like some first one was set on like focused on this like really interesting murder case. And then they just went on to this whole fucking train line fiasco.
Literally, series 2 is about the corrupt history of like the transportation department. It's like what?
Like
what? Literally,
who goes from this like amazing murder mystery to that?
Yeah, to like an evil bus depot.
So I'm hoping with season 3 they'll kind of go back to the roots.
Well, I mean, there's nothing confirmed. There's been a lot of rumours that Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey, who played Russ Cole and Marty Hart in the first series, were going to like come back at some point.
As the same characters? Or?
Yeah, this little might do for this one. You never know. There could be a time with that. So
that'd be lovely.
Yeah, that'd be great. And you've got a bit more news.
This one's a bit of game news.
Yep.
You're a fan of the Grand Theft Auto series, Jono.
Yes.
Just confirmed that number 6 is in production.
Finally.
So, like, I mean, it's been quite a few years now since the 5th one, hasn't it?
You know what's funny? The 5th one seems to hold its price. It's like one of them games that's held its price.
Yeah, even on PS3 now, it's still quite expensive.
It's still like £40, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
and it's 4 years old now, 2013.
That's what I mean. So it's about time. Are you a fan of the Grand Theft Auto series?
Not so much. I've played a few of them, but not sort of like it's never grabbed me sort of like a few other games, and it's just I'm not going to be going out and rushing to the shop to get it on a pre-order or anything like that.
I'm more in your boat. I think I'm not a massive fan of it, but
I didn't think you'd be that interested.
I mean, I understand people love it and it's a great game, but just something about it doesn't appeal to me.
But you know what it is? It's the fact that it merges two types of games. It's got a set stories in like all the missions and stuff you have to complete, but at the same time, it's got that open world vibe that some people like, where you can go and do what you like, where you like. You just follow the parts of the map.
Yeah,
I think that's why I like it. I think because it meshes too. Because I'm not a big fan of open world games, but if I got bored of one part of it, I'd like to think I could go and do that rather than just be set.
Yeah. Can I just jump into this? Like, this is a really personal take from me, so I understand that, you probably won't agree with me, but for me, like, games are about, like, wish fulfillment. You play games to do something cool that you could never do in real life, and I feel like if I wanted to be, like, an East European gangster, I could probably give that a go. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like, it doesn't appeal to me, just the actual basic of the game.
To me, though, like, I feel like if you really wanted to, basically you get to steal people's cars, you get to go and mow people down, you get to go at ridiculously fast speed, and yes, you can do that in real life if you really wanted. If you really wanted to go and do that, you could do it. But I think it's a bit more realistic to do it on the game. I mean, we've all seen those videos of the real life Grand Theft Auto where people have hijacked someone's car. And
I think I'm more inclined to like the real life sort of Mario Kart, where it's that French guy, that French fella, that Remy, whatever he is.
Malek.
His name's like Remy Gaillard or something, and he's like dresses up like sort of like Yoshi, and he's like the driving little go-karts through the city and pretends.
He's like a French prankster, isn't he?
Yeah, or he does like Pac-Man in like a supermarket, and he's running around, and they're all being chased by the little ghost, and you're just like he's just hilarious. But that's
Rockstar are definitely hard at work at the moment. We've got that coming now. We've got Red Dead Redemption 2.
Is it?
Yeah. I get confused because obviously it's the third in the line.
The first one was called Red Dead Revolver once, so I always get confused.
But yeah, they're definitely hard at work now. That they'll probably both have massive online presences as well. So
yeah, great. I'll end up buying it. I'm sure I'll end up buying it. So we'll definitely give it a go when it comes out.
Yeah.
Right, guys. We're all okay to jump into what we've done this week, movie and game wise.
Yeah.
All okay with that? I'll start with you, Inman, if that's okay. Have you got anything this week?
I'm not sure I do actually. I've been ill this week, so I've just not really sort of got around to watching anything. Just sort of.
I've been the same, to be honest with you. I literally was like thinking, what have I done this week? And luckily one movie came back to me. I thought, shit, yeah, I watched that.
I was literally trying to think earlier. I actually can't think. I've probably watched a couple of episodes of Seinfeld, and there's a show called Roadies, which is on Amazon, but I've had it on in the background. It's quite funny and sort of like it's got a couple of decent actors in it, but it's about roadies following a band round. But it's
it just sounds like a passive of time.
It is. I'll just put it on the background really. So that's about it really.
Cool, no worries. You okay to move on to Nick then? Nick, what have you been up to?
I mean, I guess I've got a few weeks to talk about because I wasn't there for the last.
Of course, I forgot about that. You were missing last week.
Because I've literally not watched anything apart from the obvious, which is if you want to go and check out our podcasts, is Game of Thrones and Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I say, check out the podcast for that. But like I've watched some more. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh, right.
Which, like I've said to Sam before, he recommended it to me about 5 years ago, and I've only just started watching it. Yeah. So, but like I'm quite upset that I haven't watched it before now, because it is really good. Like, it's obviously Charlie Day and Danny DeVito. Like, it was so much better when Danny DeVito came into it, though.
Yeah.
And like, some of the episodes are just hilarious.
They're amazing. Like, the one-off episodes, it's just sort of, they just crack you open. And it's, 20-minute episodes easy to put on. I love it. Yeah.
That's what I mean. Sometimes I'll have like 20 minutes before bed. I'm like, oh fuck, I'll watch an episode of that.
Just whack it on, just a kind of like a filler TV show almost, just back, like him and said, have it in the background.
I do that with like Gavin and Stacey. It just sort of fills a bit of time before you go to bed or whatever.
I've had a few shows like that, like Bates Motel at the moment. I'm just whacking it on whenever I can in the background. You don't need to properly, it's not an intense watch, Bates Motel, just have it on the background, catch up with it whenever you can. Yeah, so Nick, have you got anything more you want to go into?
One more. I've been putting it off for a bit because I've literally been hoping you'd be watching it, John.
Oh yeah, go for it. I will catch up.
You literally won't. But Preacher season 2 has been out for a good 4 weeks now.
Yeah, I want to.
John's been saying for them 4 weeks that I'll watch it. But like, it's amazing. Have you seen or heard of Preacher?
No, well, I've heard of it. Is it on Netflix original or?
No, it's an Amazon
original.
Prime original. Yes. It's like produced by Seth Rogen and directed some of it by Seth Rogen. I think that Jeff Gold something that he works with a lot. It might not even be Jeff. It's just something Gold.
Someone Gold. Because he's obviously Jewish.
Adam Goldberg.
Maybe.
We're just making up names.
I think he might have something to do with it. But what's his name's the lead?
That'd be Dominic Cooper.
Dominic Cooper, yeah.
Cooper, if you know.
Best known for like the History Boys, stuff like that.
Right.
But it's so good. Like, it's basically like in this season, Dominic Cooper and his compadres, which is oh my god, I can never remember his name.
Oh god, I forgot the girl's name as well now. She was in like Warcraft.
What's his name?
Arseface.
No.
Eli Dingle.
Eli Dingle. Or if you've watched Misfits, he was in Misfits. He was also Woody. Woody in This Is England.
Yeah.
Can't remember his name at this point. I used to know it. Joseph Gilgan.
Pull that off in there then.
So this little group, they're basically searching for God.
Okay.
It's so funny but they've been getting hunted down by like someone who's been in hell for like ever. This like cowboy guy, and he's like in Earth now, and he's just killing everyone and blood everywhere. And and Assface, like John was on about, he got sent to hell last season. And he's currently buddying up with Hitler. So
right.
So it's very interesting.
Quickly, just tell Inman and Jono why he's called Arseface.
He's called Arseface because before the series started, he tried to kill himself with a shotgun. And he was unsuccessful, but he now has an arse face as a result.
He has a face that looks
like an arse.
It looks very much like an arse. And so arse face is currently in hell with. I know Hitler's there, but he's getting good friends with Hitler. It turns out Hitler's actually not that bad of a guy.
You didn't hear that first, not from me.
There's other guys, like there's some woman who's like, she's a bitch.
I can't think of her name now. Ruth Negger, I think that's.
But I'm not talking about her.
Oh, sorry.
I'm talking about ones from hell.
Oh, right. Okay.
I think you've like, I think you put like characters down there that like they're a bit bad, but they're not that bad, and they're making out Hitler to be like an absolute angel in comparison to him. It's so funny. I love it. But it's definitely a recommend from me. I know I've waffled on about this for quite a while now, but I'll definitely say
I'll have to give that a go.
I'd recommend watching it.
I'll definitely get caught up at some point. You all done, Nick? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm done now. Yeah.
Cool. Jono, you watched anything?
I've been missing again for 2 weeks, haven't I?
You've been off for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, so I've been to the picture a few times. I went to see Spider-Man Homecoming first.
Oh, well, 2 weeks ago Nick mentioned it. Last week I mentioned it, and now you can talk about it.
It's that good.
It's fine. We can all talk about it.
We're all together now, yeah.
I mean, Sam, have you seen it?
I've not.
No, but he's...
Are you going to see it?
But... No.
Oh, it's quality. It's completely different from the others. Like
He's not seen it, but he has heard 2 reviews already.
He's heard all about it.
He practically has seen it.
I like the different slant on it. The fact that it's not like the normal comics, and it's like almost his inauguration into the. He doesn't eventually join, but it's how the Avengers, how he sort of deals with how he being a child, and them trying to like sort of mold him into something that they need within the Avengers to make him, because he's only like 15.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that they finally made his aunt actually hot. Because before I was like, she looks about 60, and he's like supposed to be 17 or 18, and the other ones I'm thinking, why is there such an age gap? She's only about 40. That totally makes sense now, because the people down the deli are like, have you seen his auntie? He's the one with the hot auntie. She's fit. They're like the Italian woman.
Like it's dead funny. It's quite funny as well.
Yeah,
like, it's quite humorous. Though.
Yeah,
I think that's what it does more than others. It makes it a bit more fun, because I think that's what the sort of the Amazing Spider-Man was trying to do. But the fact that sort of Andrew Garfield's like 30 trying to play a 17, 18-year-old is not really great. But you're getting someone young who actually brings a young sort of character to the role.
Which is Tom Holland, which is actually starring in our feature film.
I forgot to mention the main film.
That's what I was joining it up to.
We'll get to that in a bit, he's starring in our feature film of the week.
Yeah.
But obviously, I'll cut it short. It's well worth the watch. It's completely different from the others, so you're never going to get sort of bogged down in like.
I just want to jump in if that's okay for a sec. The Washington Monument. What do you think of that bit?
See, that bit is good, because it's very realistic to what actually could happen if something. It's not too out there, like some of the superhero ones. This is literally something that could literally happen. The line could break.
Just very brief spoilers here, very light spoilers. We're not going to ruin it for you, but just in terms of, it reminds me of like Superman when Lois Lane falls from the building and he has to fly in a saber.
Yeah, and swoops under
with a helicopter thing. The fact that he's going to save people from a lift, like in a Washington Monument, I love that, because he gets all the way up there and he can't get through the window. Just little bits like that.
It's because he's supposed to be the just the local hero. He's not a global hero, so you get all the. What comes with being the local one, where he can't smash a window because he's too small, because he's not very heavy, or just little daft stuff where he does in part prove that he is like a proper superhero, but in reality he's just sort of just on that normal level, isn't he, where he's just above everyone else, but not at Superman level. Like
you mentioned there, like one thing I like about it is that I'm not a big fan of Tony Stark in it, but one thing he does say, he says just be the local friendly neighbourhood Spider-Man.
That's what
he is in this film, isn't he? He doesn't go to New York. He stays in Queens for pretty much the whole film.
Yep.
Goes to Coney Island and Staten Island at one point. But yeah, I loved that. It's just small scale.
Yeah, even that stuff, just like when he's like dead excited to finish school, just so he can go and get changed and swing about, and he ends up losing his bag. He's like, they've put me back. He puts his bag in the bin, and the bin gets put out, and he's like, my bag's gone. His bag's gone again. And
the Vulture, I think Nick will be able to be on this. The Vulture's basically Jeremy Corbyn. Love that.
What? Where's that come from?
His ethos of, the rich and powerful are running things. We just need to get at the rich and powerful,
So you're saying that at home?
He's basically a bad guy for the little people. He's doing it just, for the, again, small scale, just for the local neighbourhood kind of thing.
I mean, you're saying, you're practically calling Jeremy Corbyn a bad guy, eh?
But he wasn't really in the film.
I don't think the Vulture is technically a bad guy.
He wasn't at first.
Jeremy Corbyn's a bit of a rebel for the little guy, not a bad guy. We probably shouldn't go into politics on the show.
No, not at all. But I can picture Corbyn flying around in that Vulture suit. That would be amazing.
Imagine that. What's he stealing though?
To be fair, I can definitely see that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, and overall films, did you give yours your ratings?
I did. What did you give it, Nick?
Oh, I can't remember.
Was it like 3 or something?
I don't want to re-rate it because I feel like I might give it a wrong rating.
I think it was a 3.5 because you were saying for a Marvel film it was sort of like it was good, but it wasn't sort of
it was light-hearted. It didn't have much sort of
top film.
Yeah, possibly. Like I said, I'm not gonna go into it again. I've already done it once.
Do you know why? I'll just give it. I was going to give it a 4 because it was a little different, and it wasn't like I usually think. Oh, it should be like the comics, but the fact that this was different is a different take on it. I'll give it a 4 because it meant I was watching something I didn't know. I didn't know what was going to happen. In the comics, you kind of do.
I gave it a really heavy 4. I'm dying to. Hopefully this weekend I'll rewatch it, bump up to a 4.5. Hopefully. So.
And if you want to hear my rating, go back 2 episodes and listen
Check
to that
it out.
entire episode.
I do think
my rating right there.
Well, I think that it's a builder as well. It's like I'm sure it's going to build onto a second. It had that sort of that joining thing at the end where it had 2 separate little sort of snippets, that you wait till after the credits.
Yeah.
And one of them was showing Venom and obviously Vulture again. So it's got to have at least a second or some part of the next Avengers.
Can I just jump onto that as well? I don't think I've mentioned this to you in work, but they're doing a Harry Potter thing with it where every film will be a year of high school for him. Like how Harry Potter.
Well, that's perfect because if he's 15 now, he's in 10th grade, and he's got another 3 years of school.
Yeah, they're planning like a trilogy of like
2-3 years.
He'll do a year of school every time. So.
That's pretty good. That times it well.
Is there anything else you've watched?
Well, yeah, I did watch Dunkirk, but I won't go into that. I'm just going to say that I watched it, I enjoyed it, and we'll cover that a different time.
Yeah, and I caught Dunkirk last week, but we'll talk about that next
But yeah,
week.
I was trying to fill in the space, between not having the podcast. So I was thinking, I'll go to the pictures. Got stuff to do in that. So I thought, but the thing that I was going to tell you about that experience of the pictures was, I did kind of kick off at the pictures a little bit. It wasn't the film that we watched; it was a kick off. I was in the queue. Some fellas come from like the side. There's like a massive queue behind me, and I'm at the front of it waiting. Some man just slides in like he hasn't seen us, with his back to me. Starts looking at the food, and then like as soon as it gets free, he goes and gets served. So someone coughs really loud behind me, and he turns around. I'm like, "What the fuck are you doing? This is a queue." Like, get to the fucking back of the queue now. And he was just like, "Oh, I'm dead sorry. I've been served now." And I'm just like, and then he ended up sitting 2 fucking rows in front of me.
You throw popcorn at the back of his head all day.
No, do you know what? I was going to do that. Right, I went to the toilet, and then I realised he had a bit of a dodgy leg. Like, as in, I think he had something wrong with him. It wasn't just like a little bit of a bang. So I was like, I can't twat him outside, because imagine that.
And now that you mentioned on the podcast, you definitely couldn't do it.
No, I definitely can't do it. But there was another kick-off as well in there. It was like action-packed in there. It was like, then it was some people robbing other people's seats, and they had to go and get the usher, and it was like the most awkward showdown between 2 men who ended up having to sit next to each other 2.5 hours of a film, or whatever, 2 hours of film. Just like dead awkwardly not looking at each other, even though they just had an argument between it. Like, with like this spotty 19-year-old, like, like in The Simpsons, the one with the funny voice.
Oh God!
Him. It was like him between them going, "Oh, he's got tickets," and then it's like stood between these 2 actual men, like who want to have a fight and then sit next to each other.
Just very quickly on the back of that, in my theatre, a lot of teenage girls, no idea what they were watching. They're just for Harry Styles,
I think there was a lot of kids in mine as well.
Yeah.
And I didn't even think they were 12. I think they've come with the parents, like.
Well, it's 12, ain't it? So,
yeah, so you can come with this. Like,
but these teenage girls early on, they were very into getting the phones out whenever Harry Styles was on the screen, literally.
Really?
how sad.
They got very bored of that when they realised how the film isn't really for them.
No, it's not like Pearl Harbor. It's none of that, like,
no
look
love
at this
story
man,
in this.
completely slick, never gets dirty or anything.
Yeah,
it's not
so
like that.
They got very bored very quickly, I think.
You've got to admit, it was a good tactic, though, wasn't it?
He's got them in.
None of them girls
How
would have
fun
been
is that,
there
though?
otherwise.
Getting this audience you never would have got.
I was talking to Rachel, another shout out, in work, and she was saying sort of like, yeah, they just put Harry Styles in just because like it's Harry Styles, I'm going to get loads of these people going to it. Obviously, that has worked.
Yeah.
But there is a story that he got the role on credit through an audition.
Apparently, I mean, Christopher Nolan will tell you. I've got no idea who Harry Styles even is.
Yeah.
He came in, blew me away, and we gave him the part.
Shut the fuck
It's
up.
like, no, you're
No.
Christopher Nolan. You know
No.
who One Direction is.
Not
Or you
just
would
that.
have been told.
Yeah.
If you've met Harry Styles, you know he is not the most charismatic man in the world. Like, he might come across that to women, but in an interview,
Yeah.
he's not the most bubbly fella. So like, if he comes and does like his thing to you, and he's like, he acts something out, you're hardly going to be blown away by him. You're going to think, you're worth 50-odd million quid. Get in my fucking film.
No, that was definitely a tactic, that.
Yeah, very cynical, but it's worked.
It is.
No, it's worked.
Clearly
It's definitely
Because they covered all bases with all men in the film. You know that's what they've done it for.
And it had a big weekend. It was like 50-odd million, which for a film like Dunkirk is pretty big. So, yeah.
Getting into that in the next show, though, won't we?
Definitely, we'll cover that in depth next week. So tune in next week for a proper Dunkirk warts and all review.
Yeah.
Yep.
But other than that, I had a Nando's, and yeah, I give that a 5-star.
Extra hot.
No, I actually get mango and lime, and then get the really hot.
John doesn't care anymore.
I'm out.
Get mango and lime on the chicken, go and get the extra hot black sauce or the new one, which is like called Vusa or whatever it's called.
Well, that's what I have, the black sauce, yeah.
Get that on the plate. Just dip everything in that when you're on it. It's perfect because that little mango and lime adds to it. But yeah.
Cool.
What have you done then, John?
I've actually got one film, if that's okay. I'll be really quick about this, but Jono, I want to talk to you.
You do?
Patriots Day.
Yes.
Have you guys watched this?
I've not. I really do want to.
Right.
I think you'll like it. Won't spoil it for you at all.
I mean,
but
we spoke about it before, but I'm a fan of the director and Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, I love a bit of Wahlberg.
You know what big fan I am of Pete Berg, my boy Pete Berg.
I'm a big fan of his films. Like we were looking down his list the other day, wasn't we? And he's done like a lot of
great stuff.
Did Battleship.
I even love Battleship. Yeah, I know a lot of people hate it, but
I love Battleship.
Yeah, I love Battleship.
Hancock, yeah.
Done, before this, Deepwater Horizon, Lone Survivor.
That's the one, Deepwater Horizon. Like that was another one with Mark Wahlberg, and it was fantastic.
Yeah,
do you know what these films are? They're not overhyped when they get released.
Yeah, that's
they're big, but they're not overhyped.
But for me, Pete Berg is like the Michael Bay, but good. Basically, he makes these big, glossy, like blockbuster films, but they're actually interesting and relevant.
They're actually decent. Yeah, they don't get overhyped, and people go, "Oh, that was rubbish." They actually think, "Oh, that was much better than I thought it was."
Yeah,
that's what it is.
So, a quick review of this, Jono. Yeah. Based on the Boston Marathon 2013, the bombing.
The bombing that happened.
4 people died, was it?
Yeah, there was many injuries. It was like
a lot of injuries.
A lot of kids that had been involved in it.
A lot of the injuries are covered in the film.
Yeah.
But I loved it
because they did at the end of the film, don't they do like a little memorial for the people, so you do see who they actually really are.
Pete Berg's just really good at taking like a true story, dramatic story, and putting it on screen. He's done it with Lone Survivor, done it with Deepwater Horizon, and now Patriots Day. But yeah, I thought it was great.
It was, yeah.
A lot of the detail, I won't spoil it for Nick, but a lot of the detail involving trying to find the bombers, I had no idea that had gone on.
It was so informative. It was like how I didn't even realise that had happened. No one knew that had gone on because all you hear about is the bombing. You don't hear about the cat.
Yeah, what happens afterwards.
Yeah, or even the middle bit of the investigation because we get told but not found anything.
Sorry, I think there's a reason for that. They explain it in the film that Boston is basically under martial law. People can't go out the houses until they catch this final bomber kind of thing.
Oh, really?
It's mental, like, yeah.
Oh, currently, yeah.
Oh, no, sorry, during in the weeks following the bombing kind of thing. Literally, they know someone's at large, and they're like, they don't call it martial law, but that's essentially what it is. People can't leave the houses. Right. It's like people. One guy wants to go out for a cigarette, and like his wife's like, "You can't go outside."
He actually gets told to go back indoors.
Yeah, get indoors.
The man's like trying to give someone a bat, and he's like, "Get back inside."
Yeah. So I won't spoil it for you, but the stuff that follows the actual bombing, it's a true story, totally true, and like it's so intense, it's fantastic.
I'll definitely watch that.
Yeah.
There's a documentary about like what happened on Twitter. Basically, I can't remember what the documentary called. It's on Netflix. Is it?
Yeah.
Basically, it's sort of like this is one of the first major events where sort of like this live streaming sort of like Twitter is happening.
Yeah.
And sort of like basically people start coming up with their own theories and sort of like watching the videos and basically they think they're turning themselves into detectives and go, well, look at this guy here with a red bag, like could have been this guy, like. But like there's a documentary, I'm not seeing it, I've been meaning to get around to it, and basically that's how some guy got like pinned for it, even though it just wasn't him. But that comes across in the film, or is that a little bit to that?
It wasn't so much that, it's more to do with the actual bombers.
Right.
Texting friends and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Just been really dopey about stuff.
One of them's at university, so he's got like roommates, and they're saying like, oh, you've been around to his sort of his dorm because he's not been there, and they just go in because they're mates and they're playing his computer and look in his bag see if he's got any special herbs.
Yeah.
And then which they do find in his bag. They find stuff for like they find things he shouldn't be. And it's a bit like
it's only a small detail. It's not a big spoiler or anything. But there's one bit where like one of the dorm mates is texting him going like, "Yo, bro, you on the news?" And it's like, "Yeah, I know, bro."
It's really daft because he's young and you get that young vibe like from him.
Yeah, a bit of a goofball. Kind of
thing,
like
he doesn't really realise what he's doing, so he just does it.
But I loved it. 4.5 out of 5 for me. I'm dying to bump it up on a rewatch.
Do you know what? I'll give it the same. Not only that, there's parts in it for John Goodman, who happens to be, is he the mayor? Or is he the police commissioner?
He's one of the, I think he's just like a...
What is he in it?
Very high up within the police force.
Yeah, in the police force. I think he's like the one that ends up going on golfing days with like the president and stuff like, the daft stuff for local areas. And also, Kevin Bacon's the head of the FBI investigation team.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So yeah, definitely recommend it to you too. I think you'll enjoy that.
Yeah, you'll love it.
I'll
It'll
go
be
on
interesting. Watch that, and then obviously try and watch the thing that Sam was talking about as well, because you'll then merge it with the film.
Tie in together.
Yeah, that's what it'll be perfect.
Yeah. Okay, guys. So you all ready for jump into the main film?
Yeah.
I've got a quick quiz beforehand, if that's okay.
Yeah, do it.
Definitely go for it.
Just a bit of fun. We've done this before, but this isn't so much funny. It's more, I want one of you to get the points, basically. Okay. We're going to move on to the main film in a minute, which is The Lost City of Zed.
Yep.
Jono, this is your recommendation this week. Well, your choice this week.
It was basically, yeah. I'll put this in at the start, right? I picked this based on, like, it was a random choice. It was a choice based on when I went into HMV.
It's relevant, basically, yeah. Out on Blu-ray this week.
Yeah,
so.
I chose a release for this week. And it just happened to be that one.
Okie doke. And you like Charlie Hunnam, so...
Yeah, Charlie Hunnam and that.
So we'll get to that in a minute. Before then, though, the director of this film, James Gray, he has worked with the star of Patriots Day twice before, Mark Wahlberg. Done 2 films with Mark Wahlberg. I've got 5 films here. I want each of you to give me 2 films you think James Gray has directed.
Based on this one.
Just
because I was going to say, we're using like the fact that we know what... Go on then.
You okay?
Yeah.
We're all good to go. Did James Gray direct the Marky Mark film Boogie Nights? Did he direct We Own the Night from 2007? Did he direct The Basketball Diaries from 1995, one of his first films? Bit of an intense drama. Did he direct Four Brothers, starring Marky Mark? I haven't got the year for that one.
That's like 2000.
Yeah, mid-2000s.
Yeah,
05, let's say 05.
Yeah.
Or did he direct The Yards, starring Mark Wahlberg? Another drama film.
From the way it looked, I'd have gone for Four Brothers as one of them.
You're picking Four Brothers. You know what? I'm going to write this down so there's no...
What was the last one you said?
The last one I mentioned was The Yards.
I think I was reading some trivia and I think I know one of them.
Okay, that's if you know it, that's fine. You know,
Say it then.
I was kind of hoping one of you would have done your homework.
Wow, he's writing it down.
I've written it down.
He's covered it.
Yeah,
I'm on the points.
He's holding it back here. So, John, you're going for Four Brothers.
And The Basketball Diaries.
Okay, Four Brothers. Basketball Diaries. Okay. Nick, have you got any idea what you're going for?
I'm just going for Four Brothers in the Yard.
Go on then, Sam. Tell us what you had.
Four Brothers in the Yard.
If you've heard it, it's about at least one.
Okay, and Mr. Inman, which one are you going for? Well, which 2 are you going for? Sorry.
We Own the Night.
We Own the Night.
What were the other choices? The Yards.
Boogie Nights.
Yards.
Four Brothers.
Yeah, Boogie Nights, The Basketball Diaries, or Four Brothers.
Basketball Diaries.
I don't think he did Boogie Nights. That's why I was thinking.
Okay, guys, we've got a tie here because Nick and Inman, you've got 1 each. Oh. He did The Yards and he did We Own the Night. So I'll give you a point each for them. So that's 2 points for Inman, 1 for Nick. This is your first one, Jono. So we'll let you off for now. So yeah, cheers, guys. So, I know it wasn't as funny as the we try and make it usually. But
you were saying like you were hoping one of us did our homework.
Yeah.
And, right. Before, in fact, no, I'll say it at the end. Actually. Okay. I'll wait until the end of the review.
No problem. So, are we all okay to get into The Lost City of Zed?
Yeah, we are.
Okay, right. Let's do it. So, Major Percy Fawcett, that's right, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Major.
In 1905, led an expedition to Bolivia, mapping out the local area. Came across a legend of the Lost City of Zed, and couldn't shake that dream for the rest of his life, basically.
Yeah, it was like a feeling that he had, that there was this city almost paved in gold that everyone must have heard about.
It's like an Aztec legend almost.
Yeah, it is.
So do you want to jump straight into the film?
Yeah.
Just one thing I will mention first of all, they mentioned during the film that while he's looking for the Lost City of Zed, some other bloke, I should actually give the name out, finds Machu Picchu.
That's
really interesting.
That's actually mentioned in the film.
Yeah, that's
gives him a little snippet, doesn't he?
Some guys found Machu Picchu, and it's like, that's basically what he's trying to do.
It's an American expedition, and it's like, they're starting to compete against us now. Look, here's an American.
Yeah. And one thing I noticed was, for me, it's very similar to The Revenant kind of thing. The Revenant's all about, basically DiCaprio in that was doing the fur trade. they were hunting the wilds, trying to find fur to sell in the fur trade.
Yeah.
This starts out as a guy just doing a mapping for
the National Geographical sort of institute in London.
Royal Geographical Society.
It is in it, yeah.
But they're doing like ordnance maps, is it, or something?
Yeah, it's to try and find borders, that you can basically, there's two governments, and you're in as like a neutral party who sort of make maps, work out the borders, so there's no disputes between two countries.
Yeah. So, Eamon, have you got anything you want to go into, or?
I like the film overall.
Yeah.
I really like Charlie Hunnam in it.
Yeah, I mean, he gets a lot of flack sometimes, Charlie Hunnam. Like, I love Pacific Rim, but I admit he's a bit corny in it, but it's almost intentional.
Well, I was going to speak to Nick about this. There's a lot of general consensus that he can't hold a lead man role in a film, or he doesn't come across very well. The films seem to tank, but I don't know if that's the film, not him. I think he chooses the role wrong rather than he didn't play it correctly.
Like him said in this one, I think he's actually pretty good, to be honest with you. I don't know if it's like the English thing, because he's English, like, but I thought he was quite good.
He seems. One thing I did notice, like, I know he's obviously the main guy. He's going to get a lot of screen time, but even when people weren't talking to him, it wasn't concentrating on the person that's talking. A lot of the time, the camera was on Charlie Hunnam. I thought it's sort of like so his reactions are always being gauged on screen.
Yeah,
and I thought he did a really good job of sort of like his reactions and stuff like that. He came across really well, and his sort of his accent and everything like that. I thought his accent was fine. Really.
Well, I had one question. It's more a case of I don't want you to have done the research. It was just more of for him to be a major. How old did he seem to you in that film? Because right at the beginning.
Well, I mean, army servicemen were young back then, weren't they? So
no, all I'm saying is he was very young. Like he looked it. Like I mean, he is only in his mid-30s in real life.
I'd have said tops late 20s, and that probably would have been right for a major.
He seems daft, doesn't it? Because obviously in the early 1900s, you think, Jesus, like that's my age, and I'd be a major in the army. There's only a couple above you.
Like people say, like there were 13 and 14-year-olds going to war kind of thing, weren't they? So it's probably about right. Like.
Yeah, I think his son sort of like later on in the film, he says like, oh well, there was people because he wants to go on the expedition later on, and he's saying sort of like, well, kids my age were going to the war, like
exactly. Yeah.
It's mad, isn't it? It's just thinking like he looks so young, and they were calling him Major, and he had so many people answering to him.
Can I jump off the back of that? I think Robert Pattinson is actually quite good in this as well.
Oh, he really is.
Yeah. The next thing I was going to go on to, I think he's really good at it. He doesn't play his sort of usual Arpats kind of
his role is probably the one I would have put over Charlie Hunnam's because he's almost like he's given up on England really because he's the majority of what he knows and what he does is elsewhere in abroad. Like he's a marksman and he's a crack shot, but he's also a bit of a drunk.
A bit, yeah, but can I just go to Nick for this as well? Nick, you've got a pretty impressive beard. How would you rate Arpat's beard in this?
Arpat's beard was good.
It was getting good,
wasn't it? It was getting good throughout the film, yeah. I was quite impressed.
Yeah, so I thought Hunnam and Arpats were both pretty good.
Yeah, I wasn't sure whether he would be overkill for the sort of like, because he's not in it too much. He's cut in and out of scenes and stuff like that in it, but I didn't know whether like him as an actor would be overkill for because he doesn't seem to be put in because it's maybe that is another Harry Styles kind of ploy.
Nolan thing.
It could be, it could be to try and get the Twilight fans.
But he doesn't really look like.
It's not a masterful look in this, is it? Yeah,
not really. No, the big beard sort of takes it away from what he's known as. So
yeah,
but he did a cracking job. It's that sort of old English style. Like that's where he is. He's very, very posh, posh spoken, isn't he? Yeah. So he suits this period very well. I suppose better than Charlie Hunnam because he's got this tone to his voice because. If you know where he's from, he's actually a Geordie. So the fact that in all of his roles over his lifetime, he's had to cover his accent. He's got this really sort of blank sort of accent that doesn't really distinguish to anywhere. It's just so... I think it's so he can get the roles because he sounds easily... like it's fluent what he says and it's not like what he's saying. I don't understand because it's not a harsh accent. And that's what comes across in this. So
it's a middle ground, isn't it?
Whereas he doesn't sound posh, it sounds like he's putting on a posh accent. I'm not having a dig at him for it. I'm just saying, like, that's the reason Arpat seems to suit his role better because that's just his voice. Yeah. And it just seems to suit it.
Just one final point on the casting. The head of the Royal Geographical Society at the start of the film is played by Ian McDiarmid, who played the Emperor in Star Wars. Did you notice this? I know you guys aren't big Star Wars fans.
I did.
even to the point of I'm pretty sure he doesn't even change his voice.
He doesn't even move. Doesn't even look up.
Yeah,
it's the same.
There's one bit when he's talking to Charlie Hunnam and he's like, "We knew your father." I half expect him to cut to like, "Have you ever heard the tragedy of Darth Plagueis?" It was very, very Emperor Palpatine, but it was still good though. I thought it was good. Yeah.
Do you know? I've got some quotes that I loved. From the film.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm not. It's just stuff like at the hunt. He does a hunt in the film. Got a catch.
Literally opens with a hunt, doesn't it?
Opens with a hunt, in Ireland, on like horseback and stuff. They call him old man because even though he's not, I think it's an ironic joke.
Yeah.
Catches this catch, and apparently, like, obviously they have it at a big dinner at the end. I don't even know if they eat it, but they have the head on a plaque at the end, and they celebrate the person who caught it. The man who obviously has put the event on must be a big name. I'm assuming he's a politician.
Yeah.
From what I can gather, asks someone who's helped the event. He's like, "Who caught this?" And he's like, "It's Major Fawcett." He's like, "We should invite him to dinner because they have a specialist dinner for the higher ranks." And the man says something about his poor choice of ancestors.
Yeah.
So he's like, "Yeah, we won't invite him."
I can just jump off the back of that. In the film, they make out as if his dad was like a drunk and a gambler.
Yeah.
The true story is his dad was Indian. So, like, I don't know whether that's the point they're trying to get out there. Like,
like a loose.
His dad was born in East India or something.
I feel like that's kind of a point of the film, isn't it? That like people in them days were very, very racist.
Was he part of the Raj though? Was he an English person just happened to be born in India?
Just happened to be born in India, but like Nick said, there's a very much
I feel like throughout the film, like they're kind of trying to say like he's a crackpot for believing these Amazonians.
Well, they actually call them Indians in the film. Which is kind of weird.
Yeah, he's a crackpot for believing them, and it's definitely trying to get across this whole racist thing.
They're like literally the emperor's like savages, don't be stupid.
Right.
Kind of
they don't have the brain capacity to do these things.
They call them savages like a lot, didn't they? And at one point in the film, they brought one out with a bloody shackle around his neck
because it was still the slave trade at the time, and they call them uncivilized as well.
Yeah. Definitely.
So I definitely feel like it's definitely gotten like it's trying to get this whole racist
an
angle to it. Like,
I think though that is legitimate to the time. You sort of see back then how bad it was and how.
No, definitely. That I just think like that they were driving that home.
It does add to his character though because he doesn't discriminate. There's no discrimination involved in what he does. Purely, I'm assuming because what you've said about his dad being Indian. He said he didn't know him.
Yeah.
But. He doesn't really.
Well, in the film, I don't think he was Indian, but in real life, that was the reason why.
In the film, he said he doesn't know him.
Yeah, he had a poor choice of ancestors, apparently.
I think it's a half truth about sort of being a gambler because.
Oh right.
He sort of like lost the family fortune not once but twice.
Right.
So I think like that being in the film, it is kind of like it is a half truth kind of.
Yeah.
I just love the choice of words though. That it was It's
an unfortunate choice of ancestry.
But your ancestors out of your control.
Yeah,
it's like you chose it. I'm like, what?
Yeah. Can I just jump to a quick scene that I liked? I'm jumping a bit into the film here where Charlie Hunnam is trying to get back to do his second expedition, and he's giving a speech at the Royal Geographic Society.
That's in Westminster, yeah.
Yeah, and he's found the pottery.
Yeah.
And everybody's just shouting at him, pots and pans, pots and pans.
And he's like, settle down, children, settle down. And they're like, woo.
I love that. But just a quick one, like we have a few arguments in work. We're notorious.
Yeah, we are.
In future, the next time I'm going to just shout you down, just pots and pans, pots and pans.
Do you know what was coming across in this film? Loads of stuff like sexism, racism. Not only that, gender equality.
Yeah,
the women had to stand away.
Yeah, that's a big issue in it though.
Because this was before the sort of the suffragette women, and the fact that similar time there was women coming out and they were actually trying to get the vote, which didn't come into the mid 1910s.
Yeah,
I think there's a scene in the bedroom. I think she's saying that she wants to go with him, and then
like,
he's saying that you're a woman. You're
not physically as strong as we are.
Yeah. And sort of like it's been like that since the start of time. He says.
Yeah, sort of, you do your job at home. That's what you're bred to do. That's what you're for.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
I was going to ask that scene you were just talking about.
Oh, do
you know the guy that was shouting him down from the back? Who is he?
Well, there was.
I've seen
him before. The little weedy.
I've recognised him from somewhere. I don't know where.
Is it the one who called Conquistadors?
Yeah, and he had the really gelled hair, and he was quite short.
Yeah. Because basically what I was going to say before is, I kind of gauge a film, like how much I like a film by how quick it takes me to pick up my phone during the film. And if I pick up my phone, then I'm pretty much sure not to be enjoying the film. But let me just say it took me 5 minutes. But like at this point, I was searching loads, like, who is this guy? And I couldn't find him anywhere.
Oh, so I don't know either. But
he looked familiar.
I feel like he's from Harry Potter, but
there you go. I'm not seeing Harry Potter, so that could be it. Eamon, have you got any more points there you wanna?
I felt like maybe this is it's quite a slow film, so maybe that's why you picked up your phone after 5 minutes, which I can kind of see. It's fairly slow and sort of it plods along.
Yeah,
I think it meanders along just like the boat in the river. I feel like that's kind of indicative of what it is.
But I actually quite enjoyed watching it because a lot of the scenes are really nice to watch. I think it's shot just really, really nicely. All the scenes in the jungle and everything like that, sort of, they look amazing.
Can I go off that?
Yeah.
I mean, this film technically, it's shot on film, looks gorgeous. Yeah. My one quibble with it is pretty much my only quibble with the film, to be honest. These kind of period films, the way they're shot, so they have that kind of like that brown golden light into them, as if you're watching a film from
like
100
a
years
sepia
ago.
type tone.
Yeah, that sepia tone to it.
Yeah.
I don't know why they do that, because have you heard of a film called Slow West at all with Michael Fassbender? It came out like last year or the year before, and it's a film set in the Old West. But it goes out of its way to show that everything then would have been new. Like all saloons that are built, they look brand new because they would have been. They would have just been built.
You don't need to wear them down.
Yeah,
rough.
So, but like whenever you watch a western, everything's old and dusty. It's like
doesn't need
no. If you were there, then it would have looked new
because it's a new
It would
settlement.
have just been built, kind of thing. And so I don't know why with a film like this, it wouldn't have looked like that at the time.
No.
Do you get my point? That I'm trying to get out there.
No, of course.
It wouldn't have looked old and golden brown. It would have looked just modern at the time because it would have been modern.
Yeah,
everything would have been new to them. But
yeah.
Do you know what I found mad as well? The fact that the come across cannibals.
Oh yeah, cannibal scene.
Yep.
They've at this point they've taken is it James Murray with them, who played Robert the Bruce in that was an amazing role in Braveheart. And he's just a nightmare, getting in the way left, right, and centre.
But he's supposed to be a second on a farmer expedition that everyone's supposed to have known about.
Well,
I feel like though, like it specified that it was in the Antarctic. It's a completely different.
That's what I was. I
know,
adventure. But so like he's used to like being the second on this adventure to a freezing cold place. This is an extremely warm place.
It was his temperament. If you're an explorer and you can go to the Antarctic and you can do that, your temperament should be good to be able to withstand pain.
I don't know. I feel like
I think I feel like I'd have a better chance in the Antarctic than like in the jungle.
I don't think you wouldn't be able to see.
And I'm the other way. I think I'd have a much better chance in the jungle.
Yeah.
But I would not. I think I'd have a much better chance in the jungle, but I wouldn't be able to do the Antarctic. And it'd be the
But
he just come across like a child, like a bit of like a crybaby. Like he always wanted everyone to do everything for him. I was like. But you're kind of an explorer yourself, but you're coming across like you've never even left like England before.
He seemed like he wanted it done his way and sort of like he was being sort of backchat to.
What I got was I think he kind of paid for it.
And he kind of lived off reputation, like because he'd done the Antarctic expedition with was it Shackleton who he went with?
Yeah,
because he'd done that, it's kind of like I'm the big I am kind of thing, and Charlie Hunnam's clearly not that interested.
He tries to prove that in the interview afterwards when Charlie Hunnam sort of sees him and he's like, "Oh, you're actually alive," and he tries to say like Charlie Hunnam sort of abandons him.
Yeah,
but
he doesn't really. He gives him supplies, puts him on a horse, and he does send him on his way, but he's ill. So.
But I like the fact as well later on, they mentioned that he's just been off on an expedition somewhere and just gone missing, and he's just presumably dead somewhere, you know what I mean?
They don't really care for that.
Yeah, that was quite good. Have you got anything more there, Eamon, you want to go into?
Talking about the way it's shot, the way it moves scene to scene. So we mentioned this last week with intertitles on War Dogs.
Oh, yeah.
I like, the way they do it in this film is sort of like they do match cuts, and I really like that. So, for match cuts, the most famous one is in 2001: A Space Odyssey. The bone goes up. Yeah. It turns in the air. It turns, and then it cuts to the satellite in the same position.
Yeah.
So that happens a couple of times. So like, there's when Percy's emptying, the gin or the brandy. I think it's brandy because that gets mentioned later on in the film. When they're on the ship, it's sort of like rolling along, but then the train is in the same movement and the camera movements from scene to scene. I really like, and sort of like I find that a much better way than what War Dogs was doing last week
Yeah.
with the intertitles, where it seemed very convenient. They seemed thought about and sort of like put together.
Definitely. I mean, I've not really heard much of James Gray. I mean, apparently he is a great director kind of thing, but a lot of references I've seen for this film are he's trying to do like a David Lean thing. He's trying to do like Lawrence of Arabia, trying to do Bridge on the River Kwai, like Dr. Zhivago. And you can see that when you watch it.
That's very detailed and very like
it's
everything.
a big like sweeping epic kind of thing.
Yeah, like everything's proper. There's everything in it. Love story. It's all set out perfectly. It's all the proper characters.
Yeah,
everything is thought about in the film. That's what you get from it.
Can I just jump into a point there, if that's okay? Just like I think I mentioned before that I love like procedural elements in films, kind of thing. I love learning stuff from a film. I love the idea of watching them just mapping a river, trying to find the source of the river so they can complete the map, kind of thing. I love that little detail. And there's a bit later in the film where I think it's the cannibals maybe who have this weird potion that they put in the water. And it numbs the fish and they all float to the surface.
They couldn't, because it references back to the point that for the life of them, they had the biggest net in the world, couldn't catch a single fucking fish.
Yeah.
Do you know why? Because the fucking water's full of piranhas. They're fishing in the wrong place.
That was a good scene, yeah.
I think the thing that was trying to drive the whole point home as well is like these people think these are the savages, that they're being really racist, but these guys are probably a bit more advanced than they are.
Do you know
exactly,
what?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
they've like in their own right, they might be wearing just rags, but like they're literally like they've got a big farm in the jungle whereas they couldn't do that.
They're acclimatized to the jungle.
That's what I mean. And like you said, they've got this technology to numb fish so that they don't have to go out and fish them.
I think that's a point, like the whole thing of being adapted to the jungle. You can't bring somebody from the Shackleton's Antarctic team to the jungle and expect him to, like...
I just thought the way they're dressed, like you said, in just smaller rags, that's because it's so hot, they know what it's like. But even his character, even Major Force, it says when he looks at the field of grown, he says it's mathematically set out, like perfect. The lines, and it's almost in a grid. And they've done that by eye. They've not measured that out. That's just done by eye. That's
definitely.
It does give a good sort of... It does show them in a good light. I know they're slagged off a lot by the not main characters in the film because that's the period. But this kind of gives them a good... It shows that they were a lot more advanced than we are. They can do a lot more things with a lot less...
resources.
Yeah, because they can make...
I don't think it's trying to show them as like being like a lot more advanced than we are.
I
feel like it's trying to like show that it's a lot more advanced than we thought they were. Because like we genuinely thought these were just little like almost animals, like next to animals in the jungle kind of thing. But in reality, like in their own environment, in their own right, they're actually like as advanced as we are. But in the jungle. So if we were to go to the jungle, we would be useless. But if they came to us, they'd be just as useless kind of thing.
I think Charlie Hunnam is like, he's the only, well, Percy Fawcett, sort of like, he's the only one that kind of gets that because back at the society, sort of like, I'm sure one of them mentions sort of like, they kind of think they're better than everyone because they mention the Americans and everyone just bursts out laughing. It's like, we're much better than them. So, but Charlie Hunnam sort of appreciates that he's going to one of the harshest environments in the world, but these people the savages know how to live in that environment, whereas we wouldn't. And he kind of appreciates that.
Definitely makes a point about how like the US have sent over like a 40-man strong team or something armed with guns. And it's like, why are they armed? Like me and my son are going to go and that's it, kind of thing. Yeah.
I was going to say it shows how badly we looked upon other countries because we're steeped in history in this country, but the Americas is a new country to them.
Yeah.
So like they could never be better than us because we're so much older and wiser. I'm assuming they think we were wiser because at a meal earlier in the thing in like the film, when he's speaking to one of the elder men, he's saying, "Don't tell anyone about what you find," because I think he sees shame upon it. Like they'd embarrass us.
I think it's just more that your reputation will take a knock.
That's what. Yeah, he's like, "Whoa, you're gonna make us look bad here if you start telling everyone." He's like, "Why? Why is that gonna make you look bad? I don't understand."
Yep. Have we got anything more there, Inman, you want to go into?
I think, a couple of trivia kind of bits.
Okay.
Like you said, it was filmed on film instead of like digital because James Gray was. I think they contemplating doing digital, but I think James Gray he does like doing it on actual film. Added a lot. Well, it added 750,000 to the budget. I don't know what the budget was for the film.
Budget, I've got that here. Budget 30 million, only made 17 million, so it's a bit of a flop.
Oh, really?
Yeah, bit of a shame because we'll get to it. I really enjoyed this, and
yeah,
when they're doing this poorly, they're not going to keep making films like this, are they? So
no. For the main role, Brad Pitt was originally slated for it.
I can see that. I mean, I'm pretty sure he produced it.
Plan B, his production company, was part of it.
Yeah, who did like 12 Years a Slave as well, and he had a small part in that. But I can definitely see him, leading this film.
He was originally slated for it, but him and Gray decided that they wanted someone English for it.
Right.
So they chose Benedict Cumberbatch.
Oh.
His wife was pregnant at the time, and it conflicted with Doctor Strange.
Right, and he was in 12 Years a Slave as well.
Right, okay. And then finally got onto Charlie Hunnam.
You know what's funny? Right. I don't think Benedict Cumberbatch would have done a good job in it.
I think Charlie Hunnam was perfect for this part, to be honest.
Because he's a little bit robust. He's not... He's Benedict Cumberbatch is almost too posh. I mean, I don't think he'd have been well built. Like, he wouldn't have been this long-serving army man. He's just not that person. He wouldn't have come across very well like that. But Charlie Hunnam's got this background where he's got a bit more edge to his character.
Yeah. And just Charlie Hunnam, I can believe Charlie Hunnam would survive in the jungle. I'm not sure if
Benedict
I believe Cumberbatch
would. You can imagine him sat down at a table having fucking high tea.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say, actually, in this film. There's just a random scene where there's like an outdoor opera in the middle of the fucking jungle.
I was going to come to that. That's one of my favourite scenes.
Yeah, I had it down as one of mine.
In terms of discovering stuff in the jungle, I mean, I didn't know what was going on at first when he came across the thing, but then you find out it's part of the rubber plantation that's working.
And the man's loaded, basically.
Franco Nero is the guy running the rubber plantation who was like the original Django. So that was quite a little nod.
Yeah, because he was basically the one who would trade a lot of the Indians, if you want to call them that.
But I love that. They're just literally hacking through the jungle. They can hear me. I thought at first the music was just on the soundtrack. It's like a weird,
like a cover over as they go through the jungle,
but they can hear it. They hack the way through and just come across like an opera.
And not just that, they come across the other man for the expedition just randomly.
Yeah,
they could have been walking in any direction. Just happened to. They didn't follow the music.
No,
they followed a path, and then just happened to find this.
And I'll just go off that. One of the scenes that I really liked. And Nick, you were saying you weren't a big fan, but the World War I Battle of the Somme scene.
I weren't a big fan of it. No,
I quite enjoyed it.
I think it looked very good.
Again, it has that look to it where it feels like they're making you think you're watching something from 100 years ago. Where I'd prefer a bit of a. Sounds a daft thing to say, but a bit more of a modern look. Like if Tarantino would have filmed this, it wouldn't have looked like that. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Like Inglourious Basterds.
No, because imagine Samuel L. Jackson just fighting for random.
Yeah, but
that's what it'd have been like.
But I enjoyed it though.
I mean, all it was for me with that scene is, I mean, it's going to sound mad to say this on this film with it being 2 hours and 20 minutes. It felt like that scene was far too rushed. I think for the entirety of the World War I know what it was just rushed. Yeah. Like that bit.
That's not the only bit I felt rushed. I felt the first two expeditions were really, really
short. I generally don't agree with that. I'm not gonna lie, but it's like World War One went on for how many years?
4 years.
4 years, and they condensed it down to. I swear it was like 2 minutes long.
Yeah, it's one scene basically.
You know what I mean? And like it felt far too rushed. And that could have been an amazing scene if they stretched out a bit.
I just thought though his second expedition was like supposedly over 2 years, and yet that was done in about 10 minutes.
I think they were all like years long, the expeditions. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it goes from 1905, and then obviously it's 1916. I think.
And there's 1911's mentioned as well.
1911. That's when he's back at the Geographic Society. I think.
That's literally after his second expedition in 1911 because his child's grown.
Yeah.
You know, enough time's passed because not only has his new child been born, his second child, but his first boy doesn't even remember him.
Yeah. And then it finishes in 1925. That's the final chapter.
Yeah.
Have you got anything more there, Raymond, you want to go into?
No, not really.
All done. Yeah. Nick, Jono, have you got anything you want to mention?
No, we've pretty much covered what I've seen of the film. What I felt was
sorry, go on.
All I will mention is this was a Amazon production.
It was. I didn't even know
and it irritated me that I had to pay for rental instead of get it on the Prime.
Oh, okay.
They've always done this thing, Amazon Prime, where they'll put films in cinemas, but then as soon as it's out on Blu-ray, they'll put it on Amazon Prime. But the first one they didn't do it with, to my knowledge, is Manchester by the Sea, because it was an amazing film.
Yeah.
They're doing it with this as well. Like, so in 3 months' time, it'll be on Amazon Prime.
Oh, will it? Okay.
Yeah, but for now, you've got to buy it, kind of thing.
Fair enough, I guess.
Yeah. Just want.
Not about the film, but about Amazon. like you pay for Amazon, and yet they still try and show you adverts. Not adverts, but the adverts for shows that's on Amazon.
Yeah.
I pay not to see those.
Yeah.
Like that really annoys me.
Yeah, I really hate that. You know, like I think like BBC have always had idents and stuff, and I'm just thinking, I'm literally watching your channel already. Stop trying to make me watch your channel. I'm already watching it.
I don't want to speak about Amazon.
Got a history there, Jono? No. Just one final point. At the end of the film, he goes missing in the Amazon with his son, but he sends the pocket watch back, which is the kind of the MacGuffin of the film. Not a pocket watch; it's a compass.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Sends the compass back to the head of the Geographic Society as an indication that he found the lost city. In real life, that did happen. It did get back to them, but it was like acknowledged that it was like a fraudster who did it, I believe.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you got anything on that at all? Or
no, I've not read about it.
I believe it was found to be kind of like a fraud almost, but I just found that really interesting. That obviously for the film, they're going to play it up like the big finale, but apparently in real life it's not that nice an ending, but yeah, I thought that was good. Yeah, so we all done?
Yeah.
Move on to ratings then. Inman, do you want to go first?
I like the acting. I thought the choice of roles was good. Really like the way it was shot and everything like that. I've given it a solid 4.
4. Great stuff. Nick, I'm looking at you.
Well, as I said before, it didn't take long before I picked up my phone. Which isn't a good indication for me because I was bored quite early on. But I was waiting. I do that a lot. To be fair, I pick up my phone, so I was like, right, I'll pick it up now, and then in a bit it's gonna get dead good. and to me, it got to this finale in the first expedition. I was like, and then they turned around, and then they did it on the second one, and I'm like. And they turned around. And then they were about to do it on the third one. It cuts to black and writing comes up. I'm like, you're joking. And yeah, I can't really rate it highly. Like, it looked good. And then, like I say, like what would have been one of my favourite scenes was cut down to 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So I can't rate it highly at all. 2.5 hours was far too long as well. I mean... I'm slagging off. I'm not going to give it a terrible. A couple of weeks ago, we gave Armageddon a straight up 0. This isn't getting us low. I'm going to go down the middle with 2.5.
That's fair enough. Yeah, good rating. Jonathan?
Right, this one's going to sound really bizarre because I've just said loads of plus points to the film that I thought, like visually the way the characters played it, the people who they got in to play the roles, but I also find it certain parts quite rushed, and also just it took too long to do anything interesting.
Okay.
I only ended up watching half of it because I fell asleep and then woke up at like 4:15 in the morning. But from the bit I did watch, nothing really remarkable happened. I was waiting, like Nick said, I was waiting for something to happen that never happened. So it didn't grip me enough as a film should, because I felt like I was just waiting. I wasn't enticed. Everything was there to make it a good film. It just didn't spark off. They've made it too similar to the real story, rather than what movies tend to do is take the real story, use most of it, and then make it like really
give it a bit of jazz,
a bit of oomph.
Okay, right.
They add to it, don't they? Because they say it's based on a true story, but it's not. It's not the true story.
Dramatized.
Yeah, they dramatize it. I kind of like that in films. I want it to be the real story, but with a bit extra, because I don't need to know the details. If you want to make them a bit more oomph, but something still happened, the same thing still is the outcome, that's fine with me. But in this, it didn't. I felt like this probably was the real story. Okay. The whole real story.
What are you rating it then?
It has to be a 2.5. It's not.
Okay.
It's not like good, but it's not awful at the same time.
I'm not going to go into it now, but next week on Dunkirk, I'm going to pull you up on a lot of what you just said. I'm not going to go into it now. Save it for next week. But yeah, I've got a bit. I loved this. I'm hesitant on giving out 5 stars straight away, but I'm just doing it 5 stars. My only quibble with the film was the look of it, which you mentioned, Inman. But it looks gorgeous. It's a beautiful looking film. It's just for my personal taste. I'd rather it go for a different look. Yeah, but I can't argue with how good it looks. So yeah, 5 stars. Loved it.
Good.
That's the Lost City of Z. All
It
done.
is. If you want to catch that. What did you give it? A 5?
5, yeah.
5 or 4?
4.
And 2. Oh my god! So it actually got 14. So it's like a
It's pretty high.
3.5.
Yeah.
Rates at a 3.5 out of 5 as a general consensus.
I think IMDb rating is 6.7. So it's pretty
bang on with
pretty
IMDb.
standard on
I think
IMDb,
Metacritic
isn't
was
it?
kind of the same.
Well, no, it's a lot higher. Metacritic and Rotten Tomatoes.
Was it? I thought it
People
was like
love
in
this
the
thing.
70s.
Like, yeah, critics love this thing. Anyway, audiences stayed away. But
Yeah, but critics don't form the general consensus. There's people who end up watching it. So
it lost 13
it's like
million.
23. Yeah, it's like 23 people are the critics that do it. But
yeah.
what about the other like thousands of people that end up watching it?
So we'll wrap it up there then, guys. Quick social media. Inman, what are you on?
Rubik's Football on Twitter. That's at Rubik's Football.
Nicholas?
At DST Nick.
I'm at Jono88 Jono.
And I'm at Taylor1980. And Jono, what else have we got?
Yeah, we've got the centralised one. So if you want to catch us on Twitter, it's at DST Podcast. And if you want to get us on Instagram, that's DST Podcast and the number 4.
And Nick, what's the Facebook page?
Oh yeah, we've got a Facebook now.
Yeah.
Yeah, recently launched.
New edition.
Yeah, it's facebook.com/DST podcast.
Perfect. And just a quick bit of housekeeping. We also do a Twin Peaks and Game of Thrones podcast released every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday, yeah.
Yeah, reviewing the latest episode. So I'm sure you like Game of Thrones. So if you like that, get over there, check out the podcast, and give us some feedback.
Yeah.
So we all done, guys, for this week?
Yeah, we're all covered. What about the film for next week? Is obviously covered already.
Dunkirk.
A Dunkirk special.
I'll be pulling you up on what on.
I know what you're going to pull me up on as well already.
Yeah,
but there's a difference, and I already know what.
Well, I'll give you a week to get your argument together.
I've got my argument now.
I can't wait for this.
Yeah, so tune in next week for our big Dunkirk review.
Yeah,
which will be recorded at a brand new studio. Won't
Yeah,
we'll be at Site D next week. 5-man pod next week. We'll all be there next week. So,
we will.
Yeah, tune in next week for Dunkirk.
Awesome.
Okay, we all done?
Yeah, fantastic.
Cheers, guys.
See you next week.
See you next week.
See you later.
Cheers, bye.